What's better, calisthenics or weights? Every time I see or hear that question, I answer with another question. Better for what? How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Minus the Gym. And we are in my basement today because down here I have my bench and you can see my dumbbells right back there. Those are called power blocks, by the way, for anyone who's wondering what those are. And I've seen this question a lot. People ask, what's better, lifting weights or doing calisthenics? And I finally wanted to address that question on my channel. But really quick, I just want to mention that for those of you who are looking to learn the handstand, my handstand program has just launched in the Minus the Gym Tribe app. All right, so if you're looking to learn how to do a handstand, make sure you download and check out my app. I will put a link right down below in the description box. Okay, so if you can't tell yet, my answer to the question of what's better, calisthenics or lifting weights, is really it comes down to your goals. All right. I mean, either one is good. I have nothing against weightlifting, even though my channel, Minus the Gym, is almost completely about body weight fitness. That's just because I wanted to show people that if you can't make it to a gym or you can't afford fancy equipment, that's not an excuse to not exercise. All right, you always have a whole world of fitness right at your fingertips with just your body and gravity. But that doesn't mean that a pair of dumbbells like this is a bad investment. Now, these that I have back here, they're called the Power Blocks, and I've had them for over a decade now. I bought them back in the day when I was lifting weights. And for those of you who don't know my story, I was obese when I was in high school. All right, I entered high school at about 50 to 60 pounds overweight. I weighed almost 220 pounds. And since then, actually right after that in high school, I started lifting weights and I lost a lot of weight. I got in shape, wasn't looking too bad. And actually lifting weights kind of sparks my whole passion for fitness. So I have my experience lifting weights. I also have a lot of experience doing calisthenics, and I thought I would be good to talk about this topic. If someone comes to me and says that they want to put on slabs of muscle mass and they want to be really strong, then I'm going to suggest that they incorporate weights into their training for sure. All right, especially if you're going to be doing like physique competitions or bodybuilding, then definitely I'm going to recommend lifting weights. But if their goals are more general, or maybe they have specific body weight fitness goals, like they want to do handstand push-ups, or they want to learn the front lever, then of course I'm going to recommend their training be centered around calisthenics. And that could be completely calisthenics, or you can lift weights to sort of augment the training. Both body weight fitness and lifting weights have their pros and cons. And I think the best way to look at this is to compare two exercises that are almost equivalent. So what we can do is we can look at decline push-ups, which is where you have your feet elevated on a surface and you're doing push-ups. And we can compare that to incline chest press, when you're lying on an incline bench and you're pressing dumbbells or a barbell. Both of these are going to work the upper chest, and you're also going to be incorporating anterior delts, triceps, right? This is a really popular exercise, by the way, the incline chest press. It's known for kind of adding to that V shape, right? The wide shoulders, and adding to that V shape that men go for. Although both of these exercises are working the same primary movers and have the same synergists, there's something to notice here is that when you're doing a body weight version of an exercise, like on the decline push-ups in this example, you're recruiting more stabilizers throughout your body. All right, you're tensing your core, you're tensing your glutes and your thighs, and you're doing this to maintain your straight body line while you do the push-ups. In contrast, when you're lying on a bench doing incline dumbbell press or barbell press, you don't need to be tensing those muscles. I mean, naturally, you're going to tense your core a little bit as you're pressing up. You're gonna be squeezing your core, but for the most part, your core and lower body are just sort of lying on a bench. You don't have to be recruiting any stabilizers and focusing on that. So the decline push-ups are actually shifting some of the focus away from that upper chest, shoulders, and triceps, and you have to put some of your attention on the core and legs to maintain your body line. That's not a bad thing, it's just making it a little different from the weightlifting equivalent. Now, getting a little subjective here and telling you about my experience, when I was a weightlifter, I noticed that I didn't put as much attention on being lean. Okay, I didn't really care how lean I was, how visible my abs were, and I also didn't put as much attention on mobility, because your main goal with weightlifting is just pushing more external weight. So it doesn't really matter, you know, if you have some extra fat on you, or if you can touch your toes or do a good straddle or pike stretch, right? That stuff doesn't really matter as much. As long as you can go through the movements for your lifts and you can push more weight, that's all you really care about. But when I got into calisthenics, I noticed I put a lot more attention on trying to lean out and focusing on flexibility and mobility, because a lot of the goals in bodyweight fitness really involve and incorporate those other aspects of fitness. So that's something to keep in mind as well. There are two big differences, in my opinion, between weightlifting and calisthenics, is that calisthenics incorporates more well-rounded fitness, different aspects of fitness, whereas with lifting weights, it's easy to get caught up in just pushing more weight. But again, I am not saying that one is at any advantage or disadvantage. I think they both have their merits, and they both serve a purpose and should be used depending on your goals. And I also want to point out that there are some exercises in both of these disciplines that you just can't duplicate, right? I mean, you can't duplicate heavy deadlifts with calisthenics. I have yet to find it. And if you have found an exercise, please let me know in the comments below. But I personally don't get the same effect from any other exercise that I get from lifting these dumbbells and doing some deadlifts once a week. On the same note, you will never find a weightlifting equivalent of handstands, right? I mean, you just can't duplicate that with weights. It's a body weight exercise. And same thing with dragon flags, for example. You know, there's no weightlifting equivalent of dragon flags. It just has to be done with your body weight. So each of them, respectively, has their own merits and their own unique exercises that I think contribute to overall fitness, and, you know, if you can, incorporate them. Now, for all my regular viewers watching this, those dumbbells behind me, I've had those for over a decade now. All right, I bought them back in my early 20s, I want to say, and they were about $600 when I bought them, so definitely not cheap. So if you're looking to add external resistance into your training, adjustable dumbbells can get pretty pricey, and you know, you're going to need a bench, like I'm sitting on a bench right now, or if you don't want to get a bench, you can always do exercises on a Swiss ball. A lot of Swiss balls are rated for over 1,000 pounds of pressure, so you can definitely do like chest press and dumbbell flies and, you know, shoulder press and stuff just sitting on a Swiss ball. But, you know, some cheaper options would be to get some resistance bands if you want to use those, or a rope trainer. Rope trainers are pretty cool. It's kind of simulating like a cable pulley system, and I actually am trying one out right now that suction cups onto the wall. I really like that. I think it's fantastic. But I'm just saying, you don't have to invest a lot of money into heavy weights. You can get some external resistance from something as simple as bands. But I hope the overall message is getting across here. What I'm trying to say is that there is no correct answer to this. Whichever one is better, calisthenics or weights, really comes down to your specific goals. And specific is a good word. Okay, that reminds me, I should mention the SAID principle. The SAID principle stands for its specific adaptation to imposed demands, which basically means whatever goal you want to achieve, that end result is what you need to focus on and what you have to specifically train for. So think about what it is you're trying to do. Is it a calisthenics skill? If so, you need to train for that skill and the progressions leading up to it. Is it physique oriented? In that case, then you could do a blend. You know, it'd be a nice balance of calisthenics and weights. Or are you trying to really build your body or push a certain amount of weight? In that case, it'd be nice to get some weights, because then you can measure very precisely how much weight you're pushing. You see, it all comes down to your specific goals. All right, everybody, I hope that makes sense. I've been kind of holding off on making this video for a while because I haven't been lifting the weights lately, even though I've had those for, like I said, over a decade. But in later 2020, something changed in me. I stopped being so dogmatic about body weight exercise, and I started picking up the weights again, specifically for my legs, just doing heavy deadlifts and heavy squats, just about 3 or 4 sets a week of each, just to challenge my strength and do something different. And it's felt really good. So yeah, hopefully this video helped you and you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button. Share it if you want to share it with some workout buddies of yours. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to keep in touch. All right? And I'll see you in the next video.